You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10. The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to the door. You can feel tension on the other side. A poor communard from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door if you don't have a warrant.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise. No reply. No reply. This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number. This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11. This door has been closed with a padlock. What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working.
I believe it's the shackle you mean to cut, Detective.
He's just trying to help. Don't take it bad. Relax.
Perhaps you should give it another go.
What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the...
I believe it's the shackle you mean to cut, Detective.
He's just trying to help.
Perhaps you should give it another go.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says number 11. What are you doing?
I believe it's the...
He's just trying to help. Don't take it bad. Relax.
Perhaps you should give it another go.
The shackle snaps like a twig, and the lock falls to the floor.
After you, Detective.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads Kraz Marzov.
The white star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting.
You hear someone, a poor community.
Do you have...
Let's go.
Hello again, officer.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something, soft, yet crinkly. Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. Not familiar in a good way, you might say.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural? Ooh, not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner. Yes, I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens. Does anyone in a city like this?
If there's pain about any particular home she's lost, she's buried it deep, fortified herself against it.
It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all. Shoot, Piggy. It's what you do, isn't it?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Can I help you? Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you keep the container locked?
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company.
I thought as much. And are you the only party with access to the trash container?
Well, yes. Us and the garbage disposal company.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you. Prod at him and find out.
Callous? What are you, Kras Mazov? Almost all establishments in Revachol keep their trash locked. The Whirling in Rags is not special in that regard.
No one was implying you were, officer. Where were we?
What do you need them for?
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please.
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, Whirling in Rags. This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, with a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't. There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow. Your hand is still on the lid.
No.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. A box falls into pieces. It's just organic waste. Nothing. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes.
Officer, is that your paperwork? It is. Look, the plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form in there. If you don't mind my asking, how could you have let your paperwork end up in the trash? What are you talking about? I don't know either. You should take stock of your notes. Make sure it's all there. Official notes contain informants' names. If some have fallen into the hands of the RCM's adversaries, bloodletting may well ensue. It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what your eagle eyes see. Or are we finished?
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the Interact tab to read your paperwork.
Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers, as the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stage. Drop them in here, officer. Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too, a white belt. The loops appear stretched, but the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see any?
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario.
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But other than that...
All right, we should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard.
The fuck's he on about, kids? You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant or something.
See? Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash, the lid was locked, and his establishment had the key.
The lieutenant nods, then looks back. You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron. Only in its social sensibility. The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. The container sounds a muffled gong. An intricate, it's still kind of a crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, Tutti Frutti. It smells faintly of apricots, with a barely noticeable twinge of cinnamon. Good question. There is no answer or secret phrase written on the inside of the wrapper. Yet you're drawn by regret. Stop before you hurt yourself with the Tutti Frutti wrapper. You carefully fold the wrapper into a square before putting it back into your pocket. Crinkled chewing, you carefully... It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much. Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage? Understood. You're that kind. It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urine. There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's a metaphor for you. Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. If you want it to be kitchen tissue, it can be kitchen tissue. It's not though. It's toilet paper. Still wet, the toilet paper, I mean kitchen tissue, sorry, peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off your finger and voila, the ledger now looks marginally better. An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip. The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before.
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
How many years you've been on the force, he's thinking. It'll have that.
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. All RCM vehicles have headlights designed to reveal halogen watermarks. Mine too.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand, it's a sorry sight. They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases undertaken, not completed, mind you. It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases a week on average.
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes. 2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me. It's okay. We all make mistakes.
God knows I've made my share. He tries not to think of them. Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
Huh?
Arson, petty theft, spousal abuse. Handwritten logs on dozens of investigations date back to January 51. Stamped case files. Commit, yes. It appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name. Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case. Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the hookah parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close. Yes, it appears you employ arson, petty theft.
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene? Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does. It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves. Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one, the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident. Huh? 2? That's a lot. I didn't mean... That's okay. We all do.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish. The tasks you've completed flow out of the kind green ape pen in a brash freehand similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple. A language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect the victim's body. Get the body down. Interview the cafeteria manager. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia.
No, actually. Any ideas? Okay. It's a good name, but it has one problem. This case has nothing. Something more concrete, perhaps? Do you have something concrete?
Usual is boring. We don't do that.
Furies. Yes, well, I don't know. I have to be... Could you make it less poetic somehow? Just a normal case name, you know? Think. Yes. I have to tell you, officer, I don't appreciate ironic titles. Other officers will have to use this as reference. If it's idiot or cockfinger. They're not going to get it. They're going to think an idiot and a cockfinger were on this case.
Fun is outlawed with this guy. What a knock!
Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now. Arson, petty theft, you don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now. In the back, you see thin, translucent, then rip them from the binder and hand them out, according to type of form. 3. The topmost are misconduct fines, the middle ones are station calls, and the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of. A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. The details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields. A tool for manipulation. Give the lowest amount and people will be ingratiated to you. These are quite sinister in turn. They give a date and time for the person to appear at the specified precinct police station. Below the call are the criminal charges you risk by not appearing. All in a print so small it could be considered downright cute. A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of color of the irises, predation marks, condition of sexual organs. Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrongdoers, interview requests for bad guys, and field autopsies to dead guys. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paperwork must have spared the fragile copier paper. It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back you see the embossed letters RCM. Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it. Something rattles inside, ever so lightly, and something small inside, light, The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center. With your hands, you 4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board. The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air, like the bits they put into public piss bowls, probably called Fermi discrete, or axle, or something. At some point in its journey, the ledger has seen the inside of a public toilet. If you knew it was dunked in the toilet before getting chucked into the trash, why are you sniffing it? So you wanted to get in on the trash toilet stink collab. Find out what happens when those two get funky together? Okay, pal. Yeah, turns out your nose doesn't like self-indulgent literal shit huffing. Quelle fucking surprise. Come on, no more. The ledger is going back down, away from your nose now. Some kind of superstar. They say the world isn't ready for a rock and roll cop. No one wants their state monopoly on violence to be mixed with celebrity worship. They claim to know it would be dangerous for detectives to rise to the ranks of demigods and have sexual encounters with barely legal cover girls. It would be insane, they say. To all this, you say, fuck off and die, in a cool voice. You people have no idea how good these cops are gonna get. They're gonna crack 20 cases a day. In the future, cops will be like astrophysicists, or prime ministers, or prophets. And you're the first one. It's the ledger you found in the trash, a cabbage of papers hanging from the board. The two sides of the board appear slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off its slide. The slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just, without resistance or sound, the 2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. Two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too. Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue. It smells of chewing gum. Apricot flavor, exactly like the gum wrapper you found. The same brand of chewing gum. Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. Looped, round letters in a woman's hand. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please. Your hand shakes holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you. You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always come back to it. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small, you feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, hold on. To what? There's nothing.
Detective, is everything all right?
There is nothing. Again. Nothing sad, brother. No treachery, just blackout. Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you, that's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia. That's me. Blue eyes, that's me. Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great sorrows slipping in the water. Slimy.
The cool when you're dead, brother.
Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
Tell him. Tell him.
Ah, yes. In the old factory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one. It's unhealthy of them to linger on it so. But as they say, what do you do? It didn't smell nice. It smelled like betrayal.
Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
Beautiful. Believe me, stupid ape, its lack of beauty was not the problem.
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause. You think they would let you until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
Yes, they're pouring something on you. It's in you. And
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness. In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket, the air is thick with
Drink. Water.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
What happened? You were reading your paperwork. Then you passed out. I carried you to my kinema to take you to a hospital. Then you came to. 10 minutes, maybe. That does sometimes happen. You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed? Good.
The Ledger of Failure and Hatred is a special item that can be used both as an interactable and a tool equipped in your held slot for skill bonuses.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cab without resistance or sound. The two panels move against each other. You stare at the card, willing your hand to move. Two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other. The words just crossed your mind somehow. Who do you think? You. It's slightly, ever so slightly, difficult to breathe once you've done so. It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of... It's proving to be harder than it. It's the ledger you found in the trash. Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB41, then date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB4. Why yes, your precinct number is 41. Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials. That is improbable. It takes about half an hour to piece one together using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start? This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. The mural is enormous. Two silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form. True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class. People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the next world mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown. The case files do not show you finding the author of the design. The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villa Lobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between two options. a staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us. Did anyone ask you what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger? What do you want to tackle next? Or are we done? This one is true people. The Graffito crew is easy. The crew agree. The 9,000 people, a staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out, in any case, it appears to have been a rare case of civil activity in the quarter. And agreement as well. What do you want to tackle next? AKA Leslie and Burke, AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk, is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way. You were so drunk you didn't remember what it was when you signed on. That Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which, in their 40s or 50s, it's hard to tell because you would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition because that's where the action is. Threatening, fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol, so it's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street. Because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing? Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. The officer is also drunk. Way more drunk than... In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open, can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke. Who knows, but both drunks are off the street. Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one? It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. She's been sitting there for weeks, on her rocking chair, with a square hole in her skull, staring at the wall, her mouth agape. That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. And then another body showed up, also with a square hole in his forehead. Who knows? Those pages are missing. What next? Don't worry. One day. Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, at an unexpected location. They were young and they thought they looked cool on it. Insufferable dicks. Young people are the worst. So anyway, you got a complaint about the damn sofa, or couch, or whatever it is. They were leaving it out in all these unexpected and whimsical locations. They took it to where they also took photos of themselves on it, and smoked cigarettes, and drank coffee because they felt it's intellectual. Cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up, and you did. So congratulations to you. Case solved. No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be chasing down the couch assholes. You have a real job to do. What next? Murder. Tum-tum-tum. At the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joseph Mills, who is now dead, of circumstances completely unconnected to murder at the hookah parlor. Beaten to death by a throng of Villalobos gang members when him and his partner J.M., only initials mentioned, answered a call one night. It's a sad story, and it isn't really represented in your case files. Stop stalling and get to the murder at the hookah parlor. Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't solve, was doing it solo, said it was a real nutcracker, a real brain twister, was on it for, like, a month. The captain got impatient. Shit or get off the pot, Mills. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of weeks more, racking his brains, running with every theory as outlandish as they seemed. Still couldn't solve the murder at the hookah parlor. No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Really rapey. Still, he'd been on it for months now. Said it was the final case. Said it was uncrackable. That murderer vanished into thin air. That goddamn hookah parlor was all he talked about. Okay, so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. A young man is found dead in a hookah parlor. You know, those places where you go and smoke bubblegum-flavored vapor all day. Yeah, so anyway, young man in his 20s found with his skull busted open, right on the floor of the hookah parlor, in the middle of the day. No one else is in there, only client that day. In perfect health, too. No one enters, no one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon, like he usually does. He's a regular. Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin, movie deal gone sour. Girl at the counter did it. Nothing fits. Eerie. Man just dropped dead. So you go to the parlor. You see cushions around the table. Tables low, heavy, really sharp edge. See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. It turns off your brain's oxygen supply, and you don't notice it until you get up to go to the bathroom. Yeah, He liked his hookah. Stephen was his name. Smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a movie script, maybe. Anyway, that was Murder at the Hookah Parlor. Joseph Mills wasn't a good detective, and about 30 minutes has passed piecing it together. Next. Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard. It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Which one do you want? Not much has changed in the meanwhile. There it is again. The scent of apricots with a touch of cinnamon. Yes, from the height of antiquity. A long. The sun sets into the sea, but the water does not boil. Instead, it turns to liquid gold. For a moment, the world's store of precious metals seems to increase dramatically, and you are rich. There is a movement next to you. The shuffle of a small coat, warm like the evening. But when you turn toward it, why are you talking to a gum wrapper? Bitter, citrus, sweet. It seems until a blossom of skin and flower petals erupts behind your closed eyes. Made of toffee, cream, and distance. You just had to take a dive. Your heart working overtime, trying to keep up with the panicked synapses firing. All feels very, very familiar. Harry, please, you were supposed to discard it. It's just a racist mug. What's there to read? But it will not happen. The mug talk is exhausted. It is time to return to work. An intricate, it's still kind of... There it is again. The scent of apricots. The sun's... There is a movement. Why are you talking to a gun?
Yes?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next.
He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant is more than happy to show off it. The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Canema comes to life with a whiny growl. Like a leopard waking from its sleep. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light on.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Canema's headlights. You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. Two men in the middle of a broken plaza, illuminated in a cone of light. Two men.
Ah, Martinez at night. Let me see. Right here. Oh yes, Coal City, Le Royaume.
All of them worse than here. There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. Not bad for what? You don't even know what it means yet. The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some. There are so many, it's hard to count. More than 150, at least. Maybe. The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do.
Son, here is where we score your life performance. You better hope it's good.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer based on your age. What did you do all those blissful years of your youth? Yes, that does seem quite likely. Your youth. This next row, the one that wraps all the way around. Wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers. Call it what you want. You are a valuable member of your precinct. Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock Quarter. It's rather tame. I mean that in a good way. There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for. Yes.
It's not a problem for him to state it, however.
Everyone has their own method of coping, some more effective or self-destructive than others. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Oh, this and that. Let's not get into it now. Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab.
If you want to pour out the booze you've been carrying around on duty, I'm certainly not going to stop you.
A dark pool of cheap wine appears at your feet. It shimmers in the lights of the Kanema. Honorably done. You have given up some of your own blood for theirs.
Very noble of you. Are we done here?
The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page, to the right of the task description.
Tremble. The time is now. Taola. Time for the show. For Taola. The hallowed time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. O ulogu theodos. Xino zausin. Ipoli osithian. Echondes fronisin. Monday morning, the moment you arrived in this reality, are the first crack in the sheer face of God. From you it will spread. Yes, you spoke the words of the Palindropos and the houses of Pericarnassus. Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you marked yourself. It's totally also a coping mechanism. So you should be. Perhaps, just a thought, this has something to do with the hangover. Okay, yes, maybe it is just the hangover talking, or some kind of joke you're playing on. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox. As you tap on...
No, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They're also fragile.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
In the cabin. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? It will...
Her voice...
Gottlieb, what is it now? I didn't, but now I do. How's the drinking going? Great. Have a medal.
Fucking, I'm not dead. It just hurts, okay?
Hard to tell it. Or, actually, yep. Yes.
You're detecting very...
Cut down.
Oh, but speed. Sweet speed. It goes so well with alcohol.
That's because you're... That's the tiny... the busy kind. It's not life-threatening, just a no. And you survive.
Sort of. But by God...
Even better.
Accept it. The body is an object, and objects break down.
With all the damage...
There is no surprise in it.
What else? I'm not a brain doctor. Look on the bright side. You've got a whole new... What? You want me? You want the real...
So it's political. You're being neglected because of political reasons. The money is...
And now I...
It's not fucking cryo...
Look, pal, getting pumped and dumped is not a disease. People live through it all the time. You should be happy. That's what the guys say, officer. There's some chick...
Don't take it personally. There just wasn't any juice.
You must have me confused.
One needs tending to right now, he thinks, looking around the room. God, you hear someone whine in the background. My eye, Doc. My eye.
Anything else I can help you with, officer? Just a second.
10-2.
A scrawny old man sits in a dusty...
10-4, what's your status? Over. 10-18, 10-20, over. 10-18, 10-20, over. State your message, sir. Over. 10-9, repeat. 10-4, message received.
Is it him?
Says he lost his badge.
He what? He lost his badge?
This is coming. You mean your partner?
What is he saying?
He's asking who
I'm his goddamn boss.
It's your partner, satellite.
Did he lose his memory along with his fucking badge?
Who lost his badge?
Dick fucking Mullen. Who do you think?
It's Officer Dick Mullen from the bestseller Dick Mullen and the Lost Identity.
Dick Mullen is not your name. It's the name of a fictional detective who would not lose his badge. Defend yourself. Immediately. They're laughing at you.
Ten-4, I hear you, officer. I'm just going to make a note here that you are in pursuit of...
Fuck me! Mac, come in!
What's going on?
Super Cop!
He lost his badge. He lost his goddamn fucking badge. Badge.
He asks you to please stop.
Why? Did he find it?
Sergeant Person was wondering.
You don't have a comeback. Sorry. It's hard to think like this.
He's not replying. Looks like he's still looking for it. 10-9, come in.
New heights? Ask him.
Sergeant Orson.
Oh, fuck. Even before you can get the words out.
He says he did.
Ask him to describe.
Satellite Officer McLean requests a description of your weapon. Over.
The fuck do you need a gun for? Oh, request a description, huh? We'll give him one. Describe the plasma gun.
It's a single-shot kill A9. An armistice, to be precise.
Says it's armistice? Dear God, he lost it. This isn't really a laughing matter.
Mac can face a giant of Coco Nur by himself.
I'm not going to.
Ask him.
Sergeant Orson here is wondering if you are still in possession of your genitalia. Over. He acknowledges your joke.
Lay off. Lay off. Tell him we'll...
Satellite Officer 10-4, affirmative.
Oh God,
Officer, do you need further assistance? Over. Ten for.
What does he want?
He's asking for money.
Is if
I don't think...
don't give that.
Right, that's a negative on the additional funds, sir. Over. He says
He isn't.
request denied, sir. He said...
Well,
Vicmar...
Who cares what this... Enough, officer. This begging is below your dignity.
Anything else, sir? Over.
Wait. Before you say anything stupid, think it through. You're going to be looking at a straitjacket if you tell everyone you...
10-4, sir. I'm not hearing your question. That's a negative, sir. I got a 10-12 here. Over.
what?
He wants to very...
What of course? Tell him to stop wasting.
What do you need, sir? Over. 10.
You probably don't want to continue on this road.
No, sir, I haven't. You're not really keen on mentioning your home lives. 10-4.
Does he actually?
He asked it.
For God's sake!
Sir, satellite office. So, was there anything else? 10-9, repeat message. I didn't get that, sir. Over.
What?
He seems intoxicated and keeps asking...
Mullen's drunk and emotionally...
Wrap it up. Don't indulge in his drunken antics.
Understood, sir. Over. Roger that.
18 kilometers to the south, in the 41st, the small...
What is going on here?
What happened is my...
Mac, the...
Yeah,
Yeah.
Enough! None of this is funny.
We must have...
Yeah? How do you...
I just know we can't...
Mac, this shit doesn't...
I guess I can hold...
Good.
Far north, on the other side of the motorway, the officer quietly hunches with a metallic drawer. The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. Preheater gauge casts a warm glow on the steering wheel.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? This is... Sylvie... Yes. Hello? Oh, great. What else do you need, Detective? Please, no. You were trying to impress some people with it. Everyone was eating, and... you were waving it around in everyone's face, begging them to describe...
Some poor sod was trying to eat his pudding while you were screaming, spit flying, imitating the mercy shot right next to him. Spat some in his food. I don't think he touched it after. There is silence on the other end of the line.
Me neither. No, please, no more suicide threats. No idea. It almost looked like you pawned it. But believe me, I did not ask. Yes, I know who you are. You're a police officer. The law. You told me back in the whirling. You told everybody. And so... Oh, no, I haven't.
Real policemen have uniforms too, by the way. Where's yours? Yes, you absolutely should. It's awful that you... It feels like you haven't worn yours in a long, long time.
Uniform? I never saw you in any uniform. You had your things on. The disco things. Yes, I know who you are. Oh.
Real policemen have uniforms too, by the way. He's in plain clothes. There are officers who wear the signature Perseus black uniforms to the highest ranks in the RCM and end up buried in them as well. Others do it more casually. Looks like you're one of them.
No, I don't know. It wasn't me. I haven't been out there since. I was terrified of the stench and the corpse.
You hear?
Anything else I can help you with, officer? Just a moment.
10-4, come in, officer. Over. Roger that. 10-10.
old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing to... Old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air with the aid of numerous ropes and rods. The woman is still hung.
Huh? What is it? What do you want?
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big head. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings. The driver, a large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crowned with wavy rays. The back end of the cabin.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this spot. Likely, yes.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffiti. There is a your toe has suffered damage.
Cool. You really showed that mail collection bug. I don't.
He must see the box as the weaker of the two. Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
You're back. Good. What can I have? Matter of fact, I don't. I have a medical condition of my own. Nothing unusual, though. I'm old, you see. Don't worry. It's curable. With questions. Ask me some. It'll help pass this night. That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the...
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it. Voila! Look, really put your back into it. Yell it from the top of your lungs.
Why, yes, I am rich. How much money do you need?
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she's letting on?
That's a reasonable sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you. The paper is... Whoa, whoa! Did you see how easy that was? Ask her for more. Toot toot, train to Moneytown. Can you eat honor?
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still...
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, and seemingly as it...
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries?
Can I help you? Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for. How strange. I certainly didn't put them there. Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my stuff. None of the trash collection service.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was...
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway.
Thank you anyway.
I think fugue states are more your forte, officer. Yes?
The door is closed. Still, the lieutenant gives... He doesn't like where this is going. The murmur in your ear...
Yes? What do you want to know? You mean like a brief? 3 days ago, during that time, the victim had... Okay then. Was there anything else you wanted to know? No. The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a... Then you are in luck. I expect the case itself to be less challenging than navigating these community matters. What's there to say? It's just stupidity. The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical... Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who... I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it.
So, he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. On the contrary.
Yes, I'm an unrepentant spoilsport. Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our...
A tremble comes over you. Another after effect of ethanol poisoning, perhaps. Feels like leaves do when they rustle in the breeze, somewhere far away. He opens one hand.
Which school do you subscribe to? Mambo or Jambo? Mental illness. So, the 41st Precinct sent you because you are the most mentally ill out of all the officers at your station? Of course. Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget.
He's actually glad it's addressed now.
Yes?
Because you're the best qualified. No, that doesn't... You look dumb.
Yes?
Because you're the best you look dumb.
Yes?
Because you're the best qualified. No, that doesn't seem right. If you're so well qualified, why can't you remember why you were...
Yes?
Because you're the best qualified. You look dumb.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those. What are you, a cook now? You're not. You're a menace. Fine, okay. The kitchen is closed until 1 p.m. because the real cook is working. You can snoop around. What are you, a cook now? That's not... No, you don't. If you had a... Beside...
You do realize you can... Sambo is an acronym for Samoan boxing. Graceful...
What are you, a cook now? That's... He wasn't... Fine, okay. The kitchen... What are you, a cook now? And want me to... Fine, okay. Yes? Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me? Game? Everything is just a game to you, isn't it? Good luck trying to use it. All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock. Not until you bring me the...
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here. Yes, have you got it? For the drinks, 30 real. Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money,
The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the army. Do I have a shaker in...
He sounds irritated.
Am I wearing it? Am I smiling? Do you... Because I'm not a bartender. I'm a caf... Like what?
Yes?
Because you're the best. You look dumb.
Yes?
Look at you. It's because you're a failure. They sent you to Slight, Precinct 57. Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late and argues with his necktie. You weren't sent here to win.
I've considered it. It would be immensely ugly of them, not to mention unprofessional. But I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It's as old as my station. And all this time we can't decide who gets Martinez? I think, yes, both stations would prefer a win. I am the finest of nothing. Safe? No. But you're old. You've made it this far. Something has brought you through. We've only just started working together, so I don't know what it is yet. So no, I don't think they sent you as a joke. And even if they did, they are in for a surprise.
He's right. There are no airtight theories, just paranoia. You've given it some thought. Now let it go.
What about me? No.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. Something the eyebrow is exercising psionic control over you.
Something the matter?
This guy's got authority. Nothing. You better hope he doesn't abuse his authority. If the fortunately, the lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of yourself.
Good. Let's change the subject.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should...
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM? I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will, and unhealthy.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes...
Your call, detective. Again, I only have exactly one every night. Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state. Our inspection could have been more thorough, as it always can, but we have some leads we can follow up on. The body is still hanging from that tree, which is unfortunate.
He is not particularly satisfied with your progress, but he doesn't want you to feel completely discouraged. Probably out of fear that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
I look forward to that. We weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him, so that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We tried to interview the White Band's rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age, and in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green, goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always... Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of... The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
When power calls you, you come. But power...
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The coalition government, and the more... The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international... Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the Moralintern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city. The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. There are a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats. Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something almost self-explanatory. Something ominous. Something even a little feminine, but in a strict manner. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions.
For you, she is something painful, though it's hard to say why.
The Moralintern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad. But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me. Do you? We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes. Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses. The red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over. The dying lights of this soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an orphan, fallen between the cracks. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate. Me too, but I wouldn't count on any drastic...
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go. Yes?
The window stands broken. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression,